Hallo Leute, was geht? Wir gucken uns heute an You Never Played Anything Like Gangland von Gametales HQ. Wie ihr seht, ich kenne die Person nicht, habe es nicht abonniert oder so. Ich würde sagen, wir gucken einfach mal rein. Keine Ahnung, was Gangland ist, aber in dem Thumbnail war irgendwie RPG, RTS, aber auch Live-Sim. Ich bin gespannt. Ich persönlich mag Live-Sim-Spiele eigentlich ganz gerne. Deswegen könnte ich mir vorstellen, dass mir das gefallen könnte. Aber wir gucken einfach mal rein und schauen nur selber, was da abgeht.
It's been over 20 years since I first played Gangland, and I'm still waiting for someone to carry its unique ideas forward. Until that day comes, let me show you why I simply can't forget Gangland.
Erzähl mir mehr über Gangland, Bruder. Was geht da ab? Bin bereit für Gangland. Ist das scheiße. I'm ready to join a gang. Und dann sind da so die Hells Angels, die dich so angucken. Oh.
I better go see the old man.
Gangland came out in 2004, developed by Media Mobsters, and it was unlike anything I had ever played. Real-time strategy, role-playing, and management simulation all wrapped
Real-time strategy klingt
into
crazy.
a mafia game. You start as a lowly soldier under a local don, and over time you can
Einfach
rise
GTA
to the
3.
ranks to eventually run the entire family. It's ambitious, quite messy, and completely unique. I think the best way to showcase the game is to play a skirmish match from start to finish, explaining the mechanics as they come up. Sounds good?
Multiplayer?
Alright, let's jump in. When a new match begins, you don't start out as a powerful kingpin. You're just a soldier working under a local don. At first, your role is simple. Carry out errands, rough up shopkeepers, and prove your worth.
Ciao, bambino.
It's classic mobster grunt work. The don hands you a handgun, a single gang member, and sends you on your way. Your first task is to extort the local gun shop. Extorting a business gives you 25% of its profits, plus a share of its goods. But since we're just a soldier, all of that goes straight into the don's pockets. Most shops won't give in without a fight. Smaller ones are usually protected by a hoodlum, while bigger businesses like jewelers or banks have security guards. Since the gun shop is on the smaller side, you just have to deal with a single hoodlum. It doesn't take long to take out the protection, and once he's down we can extort the shopkeeper. Since it's a gun shop, we gain a steady supply of ammunition and medkits, crucial for later since all units draw from the same pool of goods. There are 3 types of ammo: normal, dum-dum and explosive, each packing progressively more punch. When we return to the Don, he does give us a little cash, so it turns out we're not doing all this work for nothing.
You done good, Goomba. Listen up, bambino.
Our next task is to take...
Ja, ich weiß schon, dass das die meisten Leuten auf den Sack gehen würde. So dieses Spiel, weil der Bro immer das gleiche sagt. Listen up, Bambino. Und dann erzählt er einfach 3 Bibeln auf einmal.
Take over a restaurant. Unlike extortion, here we'll actually own part of the business, taking 50% of the profits. On top of that, the back room of most businesses can host illegal operations that produce extra goods. In the case of a restaurant, it's also where we can recruit stronger gang members. I'll explain how that works in a moment. One thing to keep in mind, money and goods are transported by collectors, and they only become spendable once they reach your safe. You can also pick up cash and goods directly from the shopkeeper with your main character. Either way, it's crucial to keep your collectors safe. Lose them and all that hard-earned money they're carrying is gone.
We've got some important business to attend to.
The following task is to take out 2 snitches, marked by floating skulls above their heads. While we're
Snitches get stitches, hab ich recht?
at it, you'll notice the restaurant's back room has just opened up. It's become a speakeasy, soon to be buzzing with activity. We keep running jobs for the Don, slowly amassing money and experience. But when we return to his safe house, we encounter our first rival faction.
Das ist eigentlich ganz cool, also eine coole Idee, das als Tutorial zu nutzen, dass du halt für so einen Typ arbeitest und irgendwann bist du selber dieser Typ ganz oben und weißt aber schon, wie das läuft, weil du ja für den gearbeitet hast, ne? Also eigentlich eine coole Idee, so Gameplay-mäßig.
Police. The chief of police isn't exactly clean. From time to time, he'll show up with his men and demand a bribe. Pay him and they'll leave peacefully. Refuse and they'll try to kill you on the spot. Beyond that, every crime you commit on the streets can attract police attention, and if you cause enough trouble, they'll eventually call in the FBI to take you down.
Oha.
For now, the Don pays the cops to leave, and we're about to recruit our first new gang member. Here's how it works. Once you extort a restaurant, gangsters will start wandering in with floating dollar signs above their heads. That means they're available to hire. At this stage, we've got two basic melee options. The
Diese Voice, der ist so scheiße. I'm ready to join the gang, Uwu.
street girl is quick on her feet, but can't take much punishment, and she uses pepper spray to stun lock enemies. The bouncer, however, moves slowly, but makes up for it with raw toughness, relying on his fists to stun and finish enemies off. But since we outright bought this restaurant, we've also unlocked the speakeasy in the back. That opens up two more recruits. The gunman, a highly accurate dual pistol gunslinger, and the henchman, a Tommy gun wielding wise guy, who can't hit anything you point him at. But with so many bullets it almost doesn't matter. Alright, back to the task at hand. After hiring a gunman, the Don sends us to protect a client deep in rival territory. And this is where my alarm bells start ringing. It seems like we're getting too powerful, and maybe the Don wants us out of the picture. Still, I go along with it, partly to explore, partly to see what happens. We run into two rival gangs and a fight breaks out.
Ich mag, dass das so ein Strategiespiel ist. Ich habe so ein bisschen Vibes von Spellforce, so ein bisschen. So vom Vibe, nur so wie die kämpfen, wisst ihr, wie ich meine? Natürlich in einem ganz anderen Setting, aber I don't know.
Nearly cost me my life, but somehow we make it out. Before heading back, I swing by the gun shop and buy in as a partner. That unlocks new weapons, and with the cash I've got left, I upgrade my gunman's revolvers to semi-automatics, a massive boost in firepower. Now it's time to return and confront the Don. Can he really be trusted? We won't have to wait long before we get our answer. And with that, we become head of the family.
Easy, easy.
Before we continue, I want to thank Instant Gaming for sponsoring.
Okay, Instant Gaming, dankeschön für den Bruder jetzt sponsert. Kuss geht raus. Wir gucken weiter.
Becoming the Don changes everything. The game suddenly opens up in ways you might not expect. For one, the phone starts ringing. International crime families will call at random with offers. Loans, vehicles, unique units. You never really know what you're going to get. It's chaotic, but that unpredictability is what keeps you on your toes, forcing you to adapt. Of course, it's not without risk. Take a deal you can't pay back and they'll send a hit squad straight to your doorstep.
That's ganz cool.
The phone itself can only be answered at your safe house. Out on the streets, it's better to leave it off the hook. Otherwise, it'll just keep ringing with calls you can't take. And trust me, that sound gets grating fast. As the new boss, civilians will start coming to me with personal favors. Complete one and they'll join my gang, even if my crew is already full. I'll explain more about gang size later, but for now, just know this is one of the few ways to push past your normal unit limit. We keep expanding our territory as before, but now all the money flows directly into my pockets instead of the Don's. With this newfound wealth, I upgrade my pistol to a Tommy gun, instantly making my main character a lot more dangerous. But trouble isn't far behind. A rival gang starts pushing into our turf and kills one of my store managers. They will have to pay for this later, because right now the police are standing in my office, waiting for their bribe. For the moment, I play along and pay up. The rival gangs are growing stronger, and having the cops breathing down my neck on top of that might be too much to handle.
Okay, 3000 ist ja nix, ne? Vergleichst du dir, was wir haben. Das ist easy. Die Cops sind gleich zufriedenzustellen.
It becomes clear that expanding the family isn't just a luxury, it's essential. One way to do this is by finding a wife and having children. And
natürlich, das ist ganz wichtig.
Honestly,
Hab ich auch
one of the
gedacht.
coolest parts of the game, because your children can eventually become underbosses and take over some of your responsibilities.
Das ist cool.
So I shift my priority to finding a wife. And in Paradise City there are three types of bachelorettes: intellectual, sophisticated, and sporty. All of them can have any type of child, but if you're lucky, your kids will be gifted, exceptional at what they do.
Das heißt, du kannst auch so Kinder haben, die nicht gifted sind und sind dann so, keine Ahnung, das ist dann Toni, der zwar auch Teil der Mafia-Familie ist, aber den traut man nicht zu, weil er schon ein bisschen dumm ist. Ja, schon funny. Ja, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Children grow up to become one of three types. The lawyer is a business-minded genius. Place him in a shop and profits rise a ton.
Das Kindermodel war ja mega geil.
Takes him in the office, and all nearby businesses earn slightly more. He's very sturdy, but is useless in combat. The
Oh mein Gott, die Kinder sehen so cursed aus in diesem Spiel.
seductress is fast and charming, able to convert enemy gang members, recruit male units for free, and sway cops to look the other way, though she does not have much health. And the enforcer is a killing machine, fast, strong, and the only unit that can carry 2 Tommy guns. The type of child you get is random, but intellectual wives produce gifted lawyers, sophisticated wives produce gifted seductresses, and sporty wives can give you gifted enforcers. Since the enforcer is hands down the strongest fighter in the game, I set my sights on a sporty bachelorette. It doesn't take long before I find her in one of my bistros. Winning her over isn't about charm or conversation. All it takes is buying an expensive ring.
Natürlich, im echten Leben. Frauen muss man auch bezahlen, damit sie wieder einschlagen. Das ist ganz normal, ganz normal.
Once that's in her hands, the next step is heading to a church, sealing the deal and
Natürlich. Hier in dieser Stadt ist natürlich auch Las Vegas.
making it official. And this is where Gangland's sandbox chaos really shows itself. The rival gang sends a hit squad to murder my fiancée.
Oh, yo.
We retreat into the church, but I cannot protect her. She dies on our wedding day, and I almost don't make it out myself.
Scheiße.
We managed to crawl out.
Alles cool, dass das geht. Also, jemand hat auf jeden Fall sehr, sehr viele Gedanken in dieses System reingepackt, in dieses Sandbox. Das finde ich sehr cool.
And the moment I step onto the street, I spot one of my rival's sons. I pump him full of lead, then turn my attention to the next task, finding a new wife. I know, life moves really fast in Gangland. I find another candidate, buy another ring, and this time she actually survives the wedding.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
You got a
At
wife.
last, it's finally time to expand the family.
Show me what you can do upstairs.
Not long after, we return with the little boy, who
Natürlich. So schnell geht das. Ja. Einmal rein, einmal raus und dann pluppt das Kind einfach direkt raus. Kein Problem. Mit dem Lolli, ja
in
klar.
time will grow up to be a lawyer. For now though, he just wanders the city with his mother. Neither of them can be
okay.
controlled directly, so you always have to keep an eye on them. In the
Das ist
meantime,
ganz
we
cool.
keep taking over businesses until our son finally grows up into a lawyer and becomes an underboss. And there he is, our boy all grown up. Having an underboss is huge, because now he can pick up the phone and handle deals, freeing up my main character for other tasks.
Das ist ganz cool. Ja, ich muss schon sagen, also Mafia ist nicht so ein Setting, was mich super interessiert tatsächlich. Aber so wie das hier aufgebaut ist mit diesem Sandbox, das ist schon ganz schön cool. Ich glaube schon, dass das sehr viel Spaß macht, dann die heftigste Mafia-Familie zu sein. Aber das ist schon funny. Yakuza sein Vater. Yakuza-Spiele sind auch toll, aber diese haben halt nicht diese Sandbox-Variante. Deswegen, ja. Sehr interessant. Schade, dass das Spiel nie so krass war, dass man nie davon gehört hat.
Make it a priority to keep expanding the family whenever possible. And sure enough, not long after, we return with our second child, a gifted enforcer in the making. But just as I'm celebrating, the police, now upgraded to the FBI, come knocking for another bribe. This time, however, I'm ready for them, and I'm not going to comply.
Oha. Favorite, einfach der Bruder mit dem Baseballschläger.
With the FBI dealt with for now, and while my second child is growing up, it's the perfect moment to talk about experience levels. Every unit has an XP bar that fills up as they fight, and when they level up, their effectiveness increases. Remember when I said henchmen couldn't hit anything you pointed them at? Well, once they've gained some experience, they become surprisingly deadly. Your main character also levels up, but he's a bit different. He has 3 skill paths: combat, leadership, and business. The order you gain levels in depends on which character you chose at the start of the match. Combat means more health and accuracy. Business increases the revenue from your shops. And leadership opens up more unit slots, letting you hire and command a bigger crew. On top of that, every underboss you gain gives you 2 additional unit slots. And super units recruited from foreign crime families don't take up any slots at all. They share the same space as civilians who joined your crew for favors, which makes them a huge tactical advantage. With the 2 extra slots I gained from having an underboss, I immediately hired 2 more gunmen. Together, we hold off one of my bistros from the new cops muscling into town. Not long after, my gifted enforcer finally comes of age. You can spot it right away. The star next to his portrait marks him as gifted. That means he starts stronger than a regular child, with more levels and experience right out of the gate. With a powerhouse like him in the crew, I decide it's time to strike directly at the police station. One raid later and the cops are finished. Sure, the occasional patrol might show up, but the war against them is basically over. And right on cue,
Bro, ist einfach die Polizeistation generell abgeknallt. Ach du Scheiße.
I get a call from a Colombian boss offering me a city car for 15 grand. I take the deal instantly. Vehicles in Gangland are game changers. When one of your units gets inside, you take direct control. You drive with WASD and shoot with the mouse.
Oh, wie cool.
Unlike your units, the bullets go exactly where you aim. On top of that, cars have their own health bars, so your gangsters are completely safe until the vehicle is
Das ist
destroyed.
mega geil. Wieso ist das Spiel so cool? Wieso ist es so deep?
There are plenty of vehicles.
Leute, ich fordere euch alle heraus. Wer macht 1 vs 1 Gangland mit mir?
Paradise City.
Mach ich fertig.
But the city car I've got here is one of the best all-rounders. Fast, maneuverable, tanky enough to take some hits and perfect for drive-bys.
Ja, okay.
I'd only rank it
Die Frau wollte aber nicht
for
überfahren werden.
which has
Die
the highest
refused.
health in the game. So I roll out in style, and before long we track down Green's hideout, hit a few of their soldiers, then
Halbes
pull
GTA.
back to prepare for the
Aber
big assault.
Sandbox, ja.
To lock down my turf, I invest in apartments across the city. Their open windows make perfect vantage points for posting up gunmen and henchmen to guard the streets. With defenses set and my crew stronger than ever, the stage is finally set for war.
Englisch war
My
Krieg,
strategy
ja.
of turtling up has paid off.
Alles davor war Frieden übrigens.
Three of the
Das
five
ganze
rival
Geschichte.
gangs have already eliminated each other, which leaves just 2 mob bosses standing. My third son has grown into another enforcer, and to be completely honest, this final assault is more of a victory lap than a real challenge. The mid-game is where Gangland is truly won. I've built a massive army of highly leveled units, and there's very little standing in the way of total domination. It's time to put an end to this and become the last man standing.
Oha. Bro, gehört dann einfach die Stadt. Ach, die Mucke, geil, ne? Sehr schön gemachtes Video bis jetzt. Bin Fan. Schöner Schnitt. All our bosses died. You win, Digga. Crazy.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is Gangland.
Das war arschgeil. Gangland ist ein richtig cooles
that's the
Spiel.
match. You've seen the zero to hero arc, the family drama, the emergent storytelling, and how all these overlapping systems create something you really don't see anywhere else. But if it's this unique, why don't more people talk about it?
Das ist die Frage.
The truth is, Gangland has some rough edges. Reviews back in 2004 were mixed, and honestly,
Ja,
I can see why.
das ist Krise.
I love what the game tries to do, but depending on your tolerance for jank, those flaws can get in the way. So let's dig in. What's holding Gangland back from being a cult classic instead of just a forgotten experiment? The biggest problem is just how fast everything comes at you. Family life, business management, cops, rival bosses, it all piles up at once. And since you only have a tiny minimap, you're constantly clicking all over the city trying to keep up. If I could change 2 things, it'd be this. Give players a proper full map and let us delegate. Imagine appointing a lieutenant that can bribe cops, patrol the streets, or automatically defend businesses. Suddenly, it shifts from frantic micromanagement to something more strategic, more big picture. A game where you actually get the time to breathe, plan, and execute. Then there's the driving. Honestly, it's awful. Cars
Yeah,
roll
okay.
like bricks, you can't drive on the sidewalk, and it just feels clunky. This is one area where the game needs a total rework.
Ja, Leute, lass doch nicht gerne spielen.
Or a field will work a lot better. The units also need work. Some of the balance is way off, like the street girl, who can perma-stun enemies, which gets ridiculous fast. And during big fights, good luck actually controlling anyone. Without pausing the game to issue orders, it's nearly impossible to keep track of who's doing what. The campaign doesn't do the game any favors either. It's split across only 4 maps, chopped into smaller sections, and every mission just feels like another skirmish. There's barely any progression between them, so it all starts to blend together. And worst of all, no manual saves. The game autosaves at checkpoints
okay, ja, das
that can be
setzt
half
sich.
an hour apart. So if you mess up, that's a lot of progress down the drain. And finally, there's just a slight lack of depth. The systems are clever, but they don't really evolve. Your kids don't have unique traits, progression is shallow, and most matches end up playing the same way. Gangland feels so close to being a true sandbox masterpiece, but instead it just falls short.
Schade, es hörte sich so gut an.
Until the novelty wears off. But I can't wrap this up without sharing some of the insane little touches that show just how much love went into Gangland. When you enter a building, your bodyguards don't just follow you in. They stand outside at the door, scanning the street like a real muscle.
That's
If
schon cool.
a fight breaks out and the unit takes too many hits, they don't just keep running full speed. They start limping across the street, desperate to survive. And the map itself is packed with NPCs, making Paradise City feel alive, not just a backdrop for your gang wars. Almost every building can be entered and is fully modeled,
Das ist
with
sehr
some
cool.
hiding illegal backrooms that are incredibly detailed. I also love
Incredibly detailed. Ein Raum mit einer Frau, die auf einem Bett liegt. Das war sehr detailed.
that a newspaper boy runs through the streets shouting about current events and how wanted you are.
Breaking news! Local shop owner extorted by brutal gangsters.
The game is also
that's cool.
full of these little micromanagement systems. Stolen vehicle parts from your garages slowly repair your cars. Illegal liquor from your distilleries can be sold at speakeasies for extra income. You can lock doors of your businesses to buy yourself a moment of breathing room when overwhelmed. You can even infiltrate opponents with spy-like units called infiltrators, or sit down at your desk and put out contracts on anyone in the city with the press of a button. And while the game can feel very video gamey at times, some decisions are genuinely great and realistic. Like your wife not always producing the ideal child, or when a kid dies in the
Very good.
campaign, they stay dead for the rest of the game. I also can't forget the soundtrack.
Makes sense.
It's excellent, even if there aren't enough tracks. Some have these vocalizations and sound effects that make it feel like the music is happening inside the world itself.
Geht hart.
And every
Early
song fits the
2000er.
maps perfectly. It's this cocktail of small but striking details that keep Gangland stuck in my head, even after all these years. I don't know, I just feel like the early 2000s were such a cool time for PC games. Smaller studios could take risks, try completely unique ideas, and aim for the stars. Gangland is the perfect example of a game that came so damn close. And that's partly why I love it so much.
Es hat super viel coole Ideen und super viel Liebe drin. Das merkt man auf jeden
I've got
Fall.
a physical copy from 04.
Das ist
and
arschgeil.
it was available on GOG for a while, but for some reason it's gone now. These days it's abandonware. If you want to try it, just Google the game and you'll be able to find it. And that's my video on Gangland, one I've wanted to make for ages. I hoped growing the channel a bit first would help me give this niche game some more exposure. I truly hope some of you resonate with it and give it
Ja,
a shot.
Leute, Gangland
If you enjoyed the
E-Sport
video,
wann,
consider
ne?
leaving a like and subscribing.
Wann
A huge thanks to my
Gangland
Patreons
E-Sport?
for making videos like this possible.
Ein sehr, sehr cooles Video. Schaut auf jeden Fall in die Beschreibung, da ist es verlinkt. Und ja, schreibt mir gerne in die Kommentare. Kanntet ihr Gangland schon davor? Und wie findet ihr das, was wir gerade gesehen haben? Ich persönlich bin schon ein bisschen intrigued. Also ich weiß nicht. Kein Plan, ob es langzeitmäßig für mich wäre, aber ich würde mir das mal angucken. Das sieht relativ cool aus. Aber ist halt auch natürlich arschalt. Aber ein paar sehr geile Ideen. Keine Ahnung. Ich meine, in uns allen ist ein bisschen Gangster, habe ich recht? Okay, reicht. Haut rein, Leute. Ciao.